Welcome to the Insurance Producers Podcast, where we bring you the top personalized producers, insurance agents, and industry partners, giving you at least 3 takeaways to 10x your production and build your multi-million-dollar revenue books. So sit back, relax, and become inspired by the success stories and strategies of the world's top insurance minds. Let's roll. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Insurance Producers Podcast. Today, we have an incredible person with us, Mike Stromsoe. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I am doing good. And the insurance people, you know who Mike is. And if you don't know Mike, you're going to get to know Mike a little bit today. I'm super excited, man. I want to learn today, and I hope you guys learn today as well. He's got some really, really cool stuff going on. We'll kind of get to it, Mike. I think a lot of people, maybe if they don't know, just a quick synopsis of kind of where Mike came from and what you're doing today in the industry. And we'll dive into some questions.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Again, I'm grateful to be able to share with your crowd today just a little bit. And like we were talking about just a minute ago, we just want to share 1 or 2 or 3 gold nuggets that they hope they can immediately implement in their agency business. And why me? I've got over 35 years of experience as a proud 100% of the time independent insurance agency owner. Grew the agency very quickly to $1 million in revenue. And everybody said, "How did you do that?" Mm-hmm. I said, "Well, it's easy. You just do this, this, and this." And they go, "Can you teach us?" Mm-hmm. And that's where UPP was born. UPP meaning the Unstoppable Profit Producer Program. And so we've been out there formally teaching agents our strategies surrounding the 3 Ps, people, processes, and promotions for approximately 9 years now. It's a wonderful opportunity to give back to the industry that has been so good to me, my family, and everybody in our circle. So thank you for the opportunity today to share.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm honestly, I've done a lot of research. We just met less than a month ago. So I've been kind of hearing about you on LinkedIn. I'm hearing some of the things you're doing, learning more about UPP. So honestly, this will be great for me as well, and our producers that are going to listen to the podcast and everybody else. So UPP, coaching and training producers, Mike, and I'm assuming it has 3 core principles, right?
3 core principles, the power of 3.
The PPP, right? So people,
PPP, the excellent people.
Perfect.
Excellent people. And
Yep.
if you're a producer out there, you've got to be excellent every single day in every single way. Even when you don't feel like it. That was, I think, one of the things that I was so fortunate to be able to do. If I was having a bad day, if I was the kids were acting up, and I was able to put my game face on when it was game time. So excellent people working within world-class processes. You've got to have processes. You've got to have a system. You've got to have a sales system. That's why we created the Sales Growth Accelerator, to help agents have a system. And you have excellent people, meaning you if you're a producer, world-class processes and systems, and then you simply promote the heck out of it. Your results, you will grow. You will create wealth, meaning books of business, and you'll have more freedom. Be able to call your own shots, to live life on your terms. I'm up at our mountain property. That's just one of our homes. Yeah. Because we've grown to the point where we've been able to do that. It works if you follow the plan.
Beautiful. So people, process, and then promote it. I want to go back to the people, man, because the people are the reason I am where I'm at today. I mean, I tell people all the time, I haven't produced a piece of business in 4 years, and I've been in the industry on the independent channel for 4 years, because right when I came in, I said, okay, there's 2 things I can do. I can get into the grind of it, which I did for 6 years at State Farm, or I can invest in people. I can teach people how to do it, and then kind of we all take it to the next level. So I want to talk a little bit about the people. What are 2 or 3 things you look for potentially in a producer that maybe that you see someplace that you're like, hey, this person would be a great insurance person. What are some two or three things that you have internally that you see some of the people in the UPP that exemplify greatness
Mhm.
into the insurance? What are two or three characteristics of those people, man, that the producers should know about?
Wow, that's tough to limit it to three, but probably the first one that comes to mind is they got to be coachable.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to be coachable. They want to learn. They want to grow. They're willing to listen to somebody else's opinion as to how there might be a better way to do things.
Mm.
So they've got to be coachable, number one. Number two, they have to be willing to change. They have to be nimble and adaptable. Remember, change is not a four-letter word. So you have to be able to shift and be nimble when things change in front of you. And our industry, yeah, something's going to change by the top of the hour. Guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be coachable. You got to be willing to change and able to change quickly as things change around you. And most importantly, from a self-development standpoint,
Yeah.
you've got to invest in yourself every single day, exercising great daily habits. I didn't say when you feel like it habits. I'm talking about great daily habits. I mean, me personally, still to this day, after now 36 years in the industry as a licensed agent, independent agent, I still have daily habits where the first hour and a half of my day is nothing to do with business.
Mm.
Now,
Why?
granted, our family's grown and I don't have the kids at home and all that, but still, even if I did, I'd just get up earlier knowing what I know now, right? First hour and a half, I invest in myself to get my mind right, to keep my body healthy, to make sure that I'm ready to play at the top of my game every single day. And there's days I don't feel like it, too bad. You can't, no days off.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the airline flight attendant analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just taught this at a mastermind in Washington State recently. Showed them a picture of the airline flight attendant.
Mm-hmm.
When the airline flight attendant is on the plane teaching you to put on your own life vest and get your own oxygen order and everything else in the event of emergency, why is she doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to prepare yourself, because you can't help anybody else or serve anybody else until you're prepared to do it. So
beautiful. Let's dig deeper there, man. And our audience knows this, but like this podcast, man, it's like all organic. Like I said, hey, Mike, we're going to talk about, it's about producers, this podcast. We have had no conversations other than that. It's like, hey, let's see where it goes. Like,
That's
for things just flow based on what you say. And so this podcast, we have no like agenda whatsoever, but I just want to talk. I want to give two or three things to the producers. I want to dig deeper inside. So invest in what are you doing, Mike? Right? In that hour and a half, are you meditating? Are you working out? Are you just silence? Like, what are some things you are doing yourself to get you ready in that hour and a half?
I've learned at this point in my life, I'm not holding anything back ever. So I will give them the unadulterated raw truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I get out of bed, and the first thing I do when I get out of bed is I walk out. Well, I go out and I stretch. No, sometimes I'll go put the coffee in the coffee maker and then I'll stretch, or sometimes I stretch and do that depending on how well I slept. But anyway, I stretch is my first goal, right? So I spend, 10 minutes or so stretching, getting my body loose and ready because I'm going to exercise in a few minutes. And then personally, I pray. I'm already on the ground, and so I'm on my knees. Personally, I pray, but it's not for everybody, meditation, whatever. Okay. After that, then I get up and I make sure there's coffee made in the coffee maker. I get my stuff out because I drink a shake in the morning and I drink a shake at noon, and I have a healthy meal. That's my life. That's how I keep myself healthy. So I get myself up to my shake, get coffee ready, pour the coffee in the water in the coffee maker. Then I go exercise. If I've got enough time, I will do about 30 minutes of, kind of a run walk thing with an audio headset. That's how I'm getting my mind right. I'm listening to books constantly. I will probably go through 3 or 4 books a month from an audio learning standpoint. Generally, right now, I do have another book that I'm going through on a reading standpoint. It's 177 mental toughness secrets of world-class champions.
That's awesome.
So I'm reading one secret a day. So if I go through the audio that particular day, if I have time, after I get home, then I jump on my bicycle.
Mm.
Me personally, I live in Southern California. I've got hills. I'm a road
Mm-hmm.
bicyclist. It's how I've kept myself healthy. It frees my mind incredibly. So I will go riding for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much time I have. I will come home, walk in the house. I'll hit the coffee maker, start making the coffee. Then I sit down and I write my wife a note. And the note every day is just one thing that I'm grateful for about her. So I'll say, happy Friday. Thank you, honey, so much for. Even if it's washing the clothes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or whatever it is. Just one little thing, you know. And then I put it on her dashboard because she's a night owl. I'm a morning guy. And she'll see it first thing. I just kind of leave it at that. Go back in the house, grab my coffee, make my shake, take my coffee upstairs. At that point, I sit down and I have 3 different daily reads that I read. And they're all short. They're
Mm-hmm.
5 to 8 minutes each.
Okay.
So I go through all 3 of those while having my coffee and my shake. At that point, I am ready to attack the world.
Good for you.
Now, most importantly, at that point, my recommendation, I was just on with a group of agency leaders a few minutes ago, and we were talking about this exact subject. Our encouragement was to tackle your top 3 priorities first.
Mm-hmm.
At that point. But you're ready and prepared to do it. Because Ben Franklin said,
you're
if
in the
you're
right mindset. You're in the right mindset. Because the worst thing you want
exactly
to do is wake up and try to tackle those things, because you got to get your mind right. You got to kind of give it what it needs to wake up. I know the answer to this, and I'm gonna and you don't drink your coffee first, and a lot of people. You should wait an hour to drink your coffee, get your body to wake up by itself. Like, what is your reasoning? Because everybody else that wakes up, the first thing they pick up is the coffee. Like, all right, I got to get the coffee to get me ready, right? So I'm curious.
well, I'm going to give you a 2-sided answer.
Uh-huh.
First, with all love and respect to everybody out there, I don't care what anybody else does.
Uh-huh.
Because number 2, I do what works for me
Mm-hmm.
to allow me to perform at the highest level.
Good for you. Good for you. I love your morning workout, man. If somebody is like, man, like that's a lot. Can I just pick one thing? What would be one thing that you couldn't live without every morning?
That's a tough question. I'm going to say, so I would do the audio work
Okay.
in combo with the exercise.
Okay. Okay.
So I
Okay.
mean, I
Exercise.
live in a rural area, and around a block that I live off of, it's 2.2 miles and it's got hills.
Yeah.
So I like to run, but I like to. But I'm older, so sometimes I'll walk, sometimes I'll run, but I'll do a walk jog too. I would do that at a faster pace.
Good for
But
you.
that's why I
Good
ride
for
a
you.
bike. It's easier on my knees because I got old football knees.
Yeah. Well, you look great, man. Investing in yourself is by far the best thing you could do, man. As a father, as a husband, as a son, as a producer, anything. It's the best thing you could do for yourself is invest in yourself.
100%.
And it's so what you eat, what you put in your body. Like I talk to our team all the time. I'm like, guys, like I know it's easy to go to Popeyes right there or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, they just think about what's going to happen an hour from now because you're not the same producer when you put some of those things in your body. So investing in yourself is not just about the exercise; it's what you put in your body, and it's so important, man. So I want to talk about the hard market, man, because I know you said number two for you was that our market is going to change, our industry is going to change. It's changed since we've been talking for the last 20 minutes. So producers right now, Mike, that are coming into the industry or that have been in the industry for a while. What should they be doing today in this hard market?
Positioning themselves to always be answering the question, why should people do business with you over and above any and all other options available to them?
Hmm.
I'll let that one set for a minute and I'll repeat it. Because every time I say that, I watch people trying to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Why should people do business with you over and above any and all other options available to them? Frankly, they don't need you. They have plenty of options out there. For some reason, they're communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
And on the reverse, how do they like to communicate? Because it's not about you. And I want to instill this point. It is not about you. It is about them. So how can you best serve them? How do they like to communicate? Yeah, you're going to email them this. Well, emails for information. Communication is done by phone or Zoom or face-to-face. And insurance is a mystery. People don't understand it. They don't like to deal with it. They really don't want to be talking to you, but they have a reason for to be talking to you. So you got to serve them how they want to be communicated with.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
You got to be answering that question and consistently improving your answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
such a loaded answer. I mean, I could go in a lot of different directions here. If you want me to just piggyback one on, social proof.
Yeah.
Social proof. It's not what you say you've done for other people. It's what other people say that you've already done for them. The results that you've already provided for people. The proof in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could tell him all day long, but, oh, he's an insurance guy. He's just telling me that because he wants me to buy his policy. But when other people say, no, I've been doing business with Cyrus for years. They are incredibly awesome. I wouldn't do business with anybody else. When they see that from somebody else and they just happen to know of the person even better, it's like, ooh. Yeah. And so and I'm not just talking about Google reviews. There's a lot of other ways to build your social proof arsenal, including your written guarantee, including your written live reference list, and all of that. And these are all things that we teach. So
I love that. What is the number one form of communication in the insurance world? What is the number one form of communication that's the most impactful to the to the consumer?
Well, I believe personally, and it always will be, face-to-face. Elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder. However, in all clarity, it's not always possible in today's world. So, what a lot of people use nowadays is Zoom. That's an adequate second. It's not the same. Phone is third. And, ultimately, like I said, emails for information, phone is for communication, or texting and that kind of thing. But, you can't go deep emotionally in that form of communication. Because let's face it, sales is an emotional transaction for the most part. It's not a logical transaction. It's mostly an emotional transaction. So that's the only way to trade that emotion.
100%. It's very hard for somebody to say no face to face for the producers versus through text or phone. I mean, if you think about it, if I don't want to do something and I have a hard time saying no. So if I don't want to do something, the easiest way for me is to text them and say, hey, like, I don't want to do that. But if they're in front of me, be like, sure, where do I sign? Because like, it's just very hard, especially if the other person is building a connection.
So let's give them an advanced strategy just to think about if they're not already using it. Many listening to this or watching this may be using it already. Congratulations.
Yeah.
The better the question, the better the results. So our goal as producers and agents helping people is to come up with a better question.
Example.
I'm going to give you one example from a training standpoint, and then I'll give you another one from an insurance sales standpoint. Fair enough?
Please.
Okay. So this one I came up with when I was training a group of industry leaders, and I had about a week to prepare. So I thought, all right, I got to come up with the best questions, right? And I came up with this question, a group of 6 leaders on a forum. And I said, hey, everybody, when we did a little intro and this and that, I said, hey, I got a question for everybody. I just want to learn more about you and understand where you're at. So here's my question for you. What daily habits do you do most every day? Well, can't cancel. What daily habits do you do every day or most every day? And I said it like that intentionally because we're all imperfect and it's good to be vulnerable. That's how you have a human connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
What daily habits do you do every day or most every day, okay, to improve your blank skills?
Mm-hmm.
What daily habits do you do every day or most every day to improve your blank skills? And in that form, it was leadership skills. If you're a producer, what do you do every day to improve your sales skills, service skills, accounting skills, leadership skills, whatever? Okay. So that was really, really good. If I'm dealing with a consumer, Cyrus, thank you so much for spending some time with me together today so I can learn more about your current insurance program. Before we get started, can you describe for me the number one reason that we're meeting today and what you're dissatisfied with in your current insurance program?
Mm. It's a great question.
As an example, I've got actually scripted questions.
Yeah.
I'm just flying off the top of my head here, but
Yeah. That's
because
amazing.
you've got to sit there and let them respond. They may not have a quick answer, like and of course, a lot of people can say, "Well, price." Okay,
Yeah.
so in answer, thank you for sharing that. So, are you price shopping or protection shopping today?
Ooh.
Here's another one in that context, and I used this years ago, and I said, "Wow, that was a good one. I'm going to do that again." So I had somebody in the office face to face, and they brought in their policies, which was a requirement, and still to this day should be a requirement. Lots of technology that can help with that and make it quick.
Yeah.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
With that being said, so brought the policies in. I'm looking at the policies, and I quickly identified from a nationally known captive carrier. Won't name any names.
Starts with
And I looked at it and I said, "You own a home and you've got 25, 50 limits." In my head, I'm thinking, "Oh, I got this one." Right. I said, "So, Cyrus, thanks so much for bringing this in. I've had a chance to review it. Let me ask you a question. When you hear the word insurance, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Protection or price?" And at that point, you got to shut up. That person said protection. Boom. I had him.
Yeah.
I said, "Thank you. I'm just trying to understand, looking at this, you own a home, right? You have some equity in the house?" "Yeah, we got lots of equity." Are you aware that your current policy, if you hit somebody else and injure them, that your policy is going to pay $25,000 to any one person, and they're going to say thank you very much, and you'll be responsible for the rest? Are you aware of that?
No.
What do you mean?
What?
So anyway, it's the better the question, the better the results. And when you ask the question, you just got to shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, it's like the first person that talks loses, right? So
That's the old sales rule, right?
It's funny, I feel like salespeople just love to talk. And I feel like as a producer, and I don't consider myself a salesperson, even our team, like I'm like, guys, like put it all out there. Tell them everything, and then let them make the decision. You should not be going out there and making the decision for other people, because you shouldn't, because you're out there. Your responsibility is put it all on the table. Here's what I recommend. Here's what I would do. Here's what you have. What would you like to do? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So because I mean, if you think about it, man, how many people are like, "Oh, I have $1 million umbrella policy." Well, I'm like, guy, dude, you made 500,000 last year, and you just have $1 million policy, and you're happy with that. You should have a $5 million policy, because like you said, like the questions that you ask, like you have a $2 million house, something happens, blah blah blah, right? There's many different stories that you can bring up that enlightens those. So I appreciate you telling me that. So now we've talked about people are the most important people, the most important thing, obviously, in your organization. Number two is the process. which is actually extremely important. The process is the questions that you had. The process is when somebody comes in, they have to bring in their stuff with them because you're obviously or using Canopy Connect or whatever. So you kind of have all this stuff ready to
Exactly.
go.
Yep.
And then the last thing that you said was promote, right? I want you to just share a little bit about promote. What do you mean by promote, and how can the producers use that as an advantage?
Well, P.T. Barnum, I don't know if you've heard of him, the old circus mogul from a century ago.
Yeah.
He said, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing.
Mm,
So it's important that every day you learn how to promote and market yourself and your
mm,
business. Okay. Not in a direct, hey, look at me type promotional
yep.
marketing, but
Mm-hmm.
why should you do business with me and my organization over and above any other options available to them? That kind of, and
Mm,
TOMA, which is
okay.
top of mind awareness.
Yep.
And one of our members brought up a couple of years ago out of the blue, said, hey, Mike, that TOMA thing you talk about, you ever thought about calling it TOHA? I said, TOHA, what's TOHA? He said, top of heart awareness.
Mm,
I said, I like that. Back to the emotional sale, right?
mm-hmm.
So we have a full marketing guide that we've developed. It covers all 12 months. It's got a calendar that includes all kinds of marketing. The number one thing I want to help people think about when they think about promotions and marketing, though, if you want to reach 100% of the marketplace, you've got to use 100% of the ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I remember doing studies in my early days with my own family, because we have a large family, 6 kids, spouses, 13 grandkids, and
Mm-hmm.
all these people, right? So I went and studied my own family. And I asked every family member, how do you like to be communicated with? And I had all these answers. And I go, wow, my mom likes the phone. Son likes email. My dad likes
Mm-hmm.
email. And then text came home. Some of the kids like text now. Oh, some like my grandson, my 6-year-old grandson. We got on the phone within the last year. We're on the phone. The phone. He goes, I don't want phone. I want video call. I want a video call. Okay. All right, Mateo. Sorry, we're not home yet. We'll be home in 10 minutes and we'll video call you.
Yeah. My son's Mateo. That's a beautiful name, man.
Yeah,
Um,
but he's a twin, Mateo and Aviana. But anyway,
cool.
that's the way the world is. So you've got to
Yeah.
meet them where they want to be met, right? So if you want to reach
Excellent.
100% of the marketplace, you've got to use
Mm,
100% of the ways. I will give you one other big tip
please.
in the promotional realm, probably the biggest tip, your list, the
Mm,
quality of your list, the completeness of your list is your absolute gold.
mm, agreed.
You've got to have a solid prospect database
Mhm.
list, however you want to classify it.
Beautiful. Well, hey,
So, and
producers.
then you got to figure out how do they like to be communicated with. We have strategies called marketplace research and all of the
Yeah,
other strategies that are attached to that to find out more about the marketplace. Because ultimately what you want to enter the conversation that's going on in their minds.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I got
if you can
two more
enter that
questions for you.
conversation that might be going on and meet their pain meter. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're
Yeah.
right.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure. But go ahead, finish your thought.
No, that's it. In the conversation in their mind, if they have some kind of a pain meter, like envision this on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the most intense pain, with regard to an insurance program, if their pain meter is at 8, 9, or 10, and you can enter that conversation, you have a really solid opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's brilliant. We talked about people. We talked about process. We talk about promote. And I've got two more questions. The first one would be going back 37 years. You said 37 years ago, man. You're into the insurance industry. Um, Maybe your first or second year. Would there be anything that you would go back? You'd be like, I wish I would have done that 37 years ago, 35 years ago. What would be something different
Without
you would do, or what would that be?
without question. And I'm not sure where this is going to sit with all your listeners, so I'm just going to say it
Yeah, yeah.
because, like I said earlier, I don't hold anything back anymore. Um, I remember having a conversation. I was about a year to 2 years in. I went to a young agents conference, and I was huddling with young agents, and I made friends with a guy there, and he called me up and he said, "Hey, Mike, how's it going?" I said, "Great. How are you?" He goes, hey, that idea that we got at the conference, I've taken it and I'm running with it. I
Mm,
said, what's that? He goes, I'm going to be a niche agent in a
mm,
certain industry. And that's all I'm going to focus on. I said, what are you going to do? He goes, well, I've got this company that specializes in this niche. They're a big dominant player, and that's what I'm going to go after. I said, that's awesome.
mm,
Keep in touch and let's keep in touch, right? So then Mike goes back to being his generalist. You're breathing, you have money, you need insurance, your mind mentality, and just kept doing what he's doing.
mm,
And I did that for almost a decade before somebody told me, hey, you don't have to write everybody.
mhm,
I don't. Well, the law is they have to have insurance. Well, they don't have to buy it from you. I said, really? That's when I learned how to write package business. That's when I learned how to write profitable business and how I
mm,
really learned how to be truly an insurance professional. Find something you do well, that you have carrier partners for, if that's a luxury.
mm,
You can lean towards some type of personal lines, make it a niche, or you can make it in commercial lines. There's so much
mm,
opportunity out there. The sky's the limit.
yeah,
But back to the question, or the answer to the question. Why should people do business with you over and above any and all the options available to them?
mm.
So position that all together and you can have anything you want.
I love that. I love that. And I've taken that to heart, man. Like we have one product in our agency. It's called homeowners insurance. And and this was 7, 8 years ago when I was even at State Farm. I said, guys, we're gonna be the best homeowners insurance agency in the world. Nothing else. The best homeowners insurance agency in the world, and we're gonna partner with the best mortgage and realtors in the world. And our whole organization is run based on just one product and then the two people that sends us the most business, and that's all we do. And now 95% of our business comes from one of those sources, and package business comes with homeowners. So man, we took that to heart. So I love that you said that, because being a niche agency, man, and it's obviously very profitable. It's going to differentiate you from other agencies, because man, you could throw a rock and you can hit an agency anywhere you are anymore. So I love that answer. So um, my last question to you, and we'll kind of go into ending it, is win the day. That used to be kind of like my motto, right? It was like win the day, and I know we talked a little bit about self development and stuff. Um, what is a Mike Stromsoe win the day look like? Like if you kind of laying in bed, you're like, man, I won that day. What are maybe two or three things that must have happened for you to say, you know what, man, that was a good day? Because as we know, man, as we get older, you're obviously a little bit older than me, but not the next day is never promised, man. So what you do every day is extremely important, whether it's spending time with your kids or your significant other or whatever you do at your work. Every day matters, right? To me, every day matters. I got to do two or three things. Is there two or three things in your day, Mike, that you must do to win your day?
Hmm. That's a great question. One that I'm going to think about for a second. I will throw out something that hopefully fuel my thought to the right place on this for everybody listening or watching.
Yeah.
I recently got done with a 3-book study, a book called The Who Not How by
Okay.
Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Who Not How.
Okay.
You want to find the who, not how you're going to do it. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur. Second was The Gap and the Gain. Same author, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And the third one is 10x is easier than 2x. Okay.
Mm,
That one in the middle, The Gap and the Gain. I picked up from that book so much knowledge.
mm,
And one of the big takeaways from that is it was a co-author, Dan Sullivan. One of them said, at the end of each day, you should write down 3 gains for the day. And the
mm,
theory of the book is, look, we all have bad days, right?
mhm,
Okay. But if you're having a bad day or you're in a bad mindset, the quickest thing you need to do is identify it and get out of it. If your
mm,
head gets into the gap, get it out of the
yeah,
gap and back to the gain.
mm,
And so once I went through that 2 or 3 months ago, I said, I'm going to start writing down 3 gains
mm,
every day, right before I go to bed. And I intentionally do not look at email or social media or anything within an hour of going to bed.
You're a better
And
man
I
than
go to
I am.
bed. I don't, no electronics. It's completely dark. My sleep is my prime time, right? Because I need to
Mhm.
rest so I can be highly energized for the next day.
Mm.
So the gap in the gain, 3 gains. What do my gains look like for a day? Well, I'll just use today as the best example I've
Yep.
got.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
I got this morning, did my thing that I just described. Up at
Yep.
our mountain house, I've got a Peloton bike. It's the only way I can exercise.
Yep.
I mean, my wife doesn't want me riding on the roads. So anyway,
Yep.
so I got my whole thing done this morning, like I described.
Yep.
Next, that would be, I had a good morning. I had my accountability session this morning. So that'll be the number one. Number one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have an accountability partner that I meet with every week. 6 a.m. every Friday morning. Every Friday morning. Last year, 51 of 52 days. We
Wow.
don't miss. Period. No excuses.
Cool.
Right?
That's awesome.
So one for today would be accountability session. Number 2, I just got off a 2-hour group coaching session with a bunch of agents. Off the hook for me.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest blessings of my life is being able to share everything I've got here, my head and my heart, with agents everywhere. As you know, Cyrus, you do this, man. You do so much for the industry. There's nothing better, right?
No.
And number 3, tonight I get to go have family time. We're going to head to a high school football game. Our oldest grandson is starting left tackle as a junior on his high school football team, an acclaimed football team. He's 6'3", nearing 250, and there's nothing better than family time.
I love that, man. I love that. You pretty much hit, like, for me, it's 4 buckets. Like, I have, okay, did I hit my, like, my wife is one of the buckets, like, kissing her and all that stuff, and affectionate and all that stuff that she loves, right? Because that's her love language. With my kids, like, my second bucket is the kids. Like, did I do that with the kids? My third bucket, which is the most important, is myself. Like, did I get my workout in the morning, 5:15 every morning? Did I get that? And then, which I did. And then the fourth one will be the business. Did I do something to move the needle in the business? Whatever that is. Today's podcast would be my business. I hung out with Mike Stromsoe. We talked about a really good conversation. We feel like even if we made a difference in one producer's life today, or one little thing that they're doing that they take from this, that's a win for me. So I hit all 4 of my buckets, which is exactly what you said. So that's pretty awesome, man. So Mike, where could people find you? Where could they find some information about UPP if they're interested on the producers one? And where could they find you, man? Because I think if people don't follow Mike Stromsoe, seriously, man, your LinkedIn is awesome. There's so much good content on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Please, 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 please go follow Mike Stromsoe. How can they find you other than LinkedIn?
It's simple. Just go to unstoppableprofitproducer.com. Unstoppableprofitproducer.com. Or you can, if you want to call us, 800-770-9984, 800-770-9984, or VIP at upplife.com. That's upplife.com. Because that's what everybody we work with. That's our goal. They get to live the UPP life like we get to live, Cyrus.
That's cool. That is awesome.
We get to live a life where, we got a growing business, we're creating wealth, and we get to have more freedom. And who's got it better than we do, right?
Nobody does, man. We're in the best industry. For the producers, man, Mike, you would say this. We're in literally the best industry you could possibly. If this is a hard market where you're making more money in this market, then you're in the right business, man. And I tell people this all the time. Yeah, rates have gone up, but at the same time, it's more revenue. It's more challenging. You connect with your clients more because they're calling you. It's a good time.
There's people out there that can show you a way to shift that in your favor, and I know some of them. So if you ever want to connect with me, I'll be happy to share that. Or yeah. We're not going to leave him hanging. Should we not leave him hanging?
I don't think we should.
Do you know Seth Zarumba?
I do know Seth Zarumba. Yes.
Yeah. So connect with Seth. He'll show you a way.
Yeah.
You'll have more than you know what to do with.
Yeah.
Believe
Seth
me.
Is the guy Seth is the guy everybody should know. Everybody should know. So
100%.
He was on your podcast, wasn't he? I think that's where I heard him.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. He was on your podcast. Hey, what's your podcast? If people want to listen to your podcast, so you could tell everybody.
It's unstoppableprofitpodcast.com.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Go check it out, guys. Mike Stromsoe, I appreciate you, man. Have fun in the mountains, and keep living the dream.